Hi.
Hi, Tiffany. Welcome to the Dive Top of the Wave segment. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk to you because I haven't seen you in a while, so I'm just
I
excited to
know.
talk to you.
I know we're taking an opportunity to talk to all our favorite partners and
That's so
clients,
fun.
just get some best practices out of you guys, get some,
See what's
I
going
guess,
on.
some feedback and, take an opportunity to reflect and share what's working. Some of the authors I've been reading about have been saying that, the COVID situation has been like fast forwarding technology into 2030.
Mm-hmm.
Made me think as women in technology, what do we think of that? Is that true?
Right.
What are
Um,
your thoughts?
I think it's been fantastic. Honestly, I think there's so many things that we had tried to push, and specifically as women in tech, balancing families and things like that. The idea of remote work and being able to work around other priorities, and we wanted that. And so I do think the nice thing. I mean, everything I've read, certainly everything I'm sure you've read too, is basically saying that that is now available. Like, we've been able to demonstrate that this can be done. The tools are there. I have so many friends who work in law and in finance that were like very much against working from home and even against digital signatures. And in a matter of 2 weeks, their whole organization had to pivot. And now all of a sudden they can do it. And I think it's been such an eye opener, which has been really exciting. So yeah, I think that's
Awesome.
been great.
And how has it been at LinkedIn? Like, how have you noticed your company culture shifting or changing?
So I think LinkedIn, I mean, obviously being a tech company, was poised for this. They had the tools, they had the resources in place, they had again, really just the tools. They had them in place. I think the biggest shift obviously has been just the company culture as far as what you do when you bump into people at lunch, when you bump into people at the office. And all the studies that you read demonstrate that that is really the piece that people are missing right now. And so I think everyone wanted work from home for so long. It was this glorified idea, and it's great, but people are really missing the organic conversation that just happens from bumping into people. And so how do you recreate that virtually? And I think that's something that everybody's challenged with right now. But I think as far as a company and moving to virtual, we were poised to do it. And so that transition of actually working was not a difficult transition to make.
Yeah. And you had mentioned, I guess, when we had first met, you recommended a book to me around being fearless. I'm forgetting the exact title, but it's more along the lines of like, emotional intelligence and
Right.
beyond the water cooler type of talk. So how do you think that's going to translate into our next phase of work?
So funny enough, I have been thinking about that a lot lately, which is how do you build trust in this kind of environment? And especially being in a sales role, how do you build new relationships in an environment like this, where you are used to going to see someone in person, picking up on physical cues, picking up on pauses. So what do you do? And so I think the element of trust and trust building is really interesting right now. And I'm currently reading, it's an older book, but Dare to Lead by Brené Brown, and talking about trust and the barometers of trust and how do you do that. And one of the things that I'm finding, at least I'm trying to demonstrate so that I get it in return, is showing up totally authentically and perhaps even a little bit more vulnerable than I normally would. And so that's something that's been reciprocated quite well and has actually helped me, I would say, push forward trust in a way that I didn't anticipate, but has been certainly a welcome outcome of this.
So just picking up on some of that, you mentioned Brené Brown as one of the authors that had inspired you, or a book that you'd read. Are there any other themes that we've missed on corporate communication, or
No, I
areas
mean,
that you've learned?
I think, and I'm not just saying this because I work there, but LinkedIn has actually been an incredible platform at this time, because I think businesses and people are really leaning into sharing there, just because it is a trusted platform. And so I'm seeing a lot of really interesting and engaging content there from a variety of different individuals, businesses, sources, and short form articles that I've really enjoyed reading and getting a full breadth of what people are trying. But I would say at the baseline, to your point, people are really trying to establish a new level of trust and a new level of humanity. And working from home provides that, because you don't get to have your corporate armor on anymore. I mean, you see my house, right? People's kids are popping into meetings, people's pets are popping into meetings. So this idea of bringing your whole self to work, whereas we would always say that, and that was always something that was touted, now you literally cannot not do that. So that has made for a really interesting dynamic at work, which I think has been really cool.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any hints for people? I zoomed into like a call with 10 new people last week on a briefing, and I was wondering, are there any hints for meeting new people, like ways of introducing yourself, or hints? Like what I did is like sent some of them a LinkedIn message afterwards, because I was like, when you meet someone, it's hard to do that full spiel or to like have a conversation. Are there any hints for meeting groups of new people or having briefings online?
Yeah, so I think you just make space for it. So I think I'm trying to just make and add a little bit more space. I'm sorry, see, bring your whole self. You can hear my kids yelling in the background, right? But I think you just make space for, they are literally having like a war fight downstairs, and it's awesome.
Love it.
Okay, sorry, rolling with it. But trying to just leave more space. So leave more space at the beginning of meetings to talk, to ask. Again, I find the best way to do anything is to lead by example. And so I'm just trying to be, vulnerability is not my natural state. And so I'm trying to push myself to reveal a little bit more than maybe I would, in the effort of lowering that waterline and building trust right off the baseline. So trying to do that with new relationships, trying to make sure you do the round robin and get everyone, very much like you said, follow up with people after, handwritten thank you notes and gift cards, digitally sent. All of those go such a long way right now. And I think they're so important in just cementing those relationships.
Great. No, thank you. I was just thinking about streamlining. We do, as Dive, we've always done a lot of corporate communication in offices and factories. Actually, our communications within factories have increased significantly. Offices, not as much.
Right.
But we've been working on, kind of figuring out tricks and ways to still get in touch with, work from home groups. Have there been any other ways of getting messages? Because now everyone's so swamped, even further swamped in email. Any hints for, ways of streamlining groups?
I think I agree with you there. There is so much more. And so that's why I think it's ever important to be succinct. And so I try to, in anything I'm doing, keep it as succinct as possible. Let's say it's a meeting, right? Why are we here? What are we doing? Why is this important? What is the takeaway? Right at the top. So then you know what you're looking for, you know what you have to take away while we go through that meeting. Additionally, if it's something that is ongoing, like let's say it's a pulse check or things like that, I like to just survey the team. So after like 6 weeks, 2 months, send out a quick note. Is this still working? What do you want to see? What do you want to see differently? What's working? What's not working? And anonymous, of course, so that people can be as open as they want to be, and then change it, adjust it, do things that work for people. But I find I've always been a fan of bullet points, but I'm using way more bullet points, as succinct as possible.
Yes, I appreciate that. My mechanical engineer background, I don't think I've written a sentence in years. So even my notes here. So thank you.
Bullet.
Bullet.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Tiffany. Thanks for taking the time with us today. I
No
really
problem.
appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me. This has been a pleasure, and thank you for dealing with my whole self and my kids in the background.
Thanks for dealing with my roller coaster of connectivity. I appreciate it.
No worries. All right. I'll talk to you soon, guys.
Thanks so much.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.